Greetings from the Erie Coast. This is Mad Shad. Thor Vigi, may Thor bless on this wonderful Thursday. Wow, it's a beautiful day. Partly cloudy skies. It's as you can tell, hustle and bustle of Cleveland. Right on. It appears that my secretaries are away. I'm at my office here. The secretaries are away at this moment, probably doing lunch. Whatever, some work, chowing down on some worms or some seeds or insects or whatever these secretaries eat. I don't know, but it's a beautiful day. It is an absolutely beautiful day. I'll tell you about those who did not have a beautiful day. Those Americans that are trapped in Afghanistan, left there by Trader Jones' militia / incompetent regime. At least we forget the 13 servicemen and women died at Abbey Gate, called Afghanistan, along with 200 other poor souls. 300 plus people lost arms and legs and limbs. A lot of them were service members as well. Every day, never forget, and never forget whose fault this is. But there was hope. There was folks getting people out. Our government didn't want to get anybody out. They didn't want to get anybody out. Matter of fact, they told everybody to shelter in place, stand by for further instructions. And no instructions came. Imagine that. While all around them were the Taliban, a well-known, violent, murderous, terrorist organization. Oddly enough, funded by us. Yeah, these folks were going in, hiding folks, sheltering folks, making sure they had food, water, paying off everybody. It was very expensive. A Hydeside house was like $30,000 a week or something. It was crazy because they had to pay everybody off. The Taliban checkpoints and the overlords and the militias that were involved. They just paid them off. That's all. That's how they got through. They just paid them off. And then if they had to set up a route, they had to make sure that all the perfect timing, because there's shift change, and so they had to go forward. They had to make sure that those on shift were going to wave the people through because they got paid, right? Yeah. And you know who that was? That was Task Force Argo, Task Force Pineapple, Project Exodus, Project Dynamo, Christian Coalition, Mighty Oak Foundation. Just name a few. They're still in country, by the way, getting out foreign nationals and people that they spent 20 plus years with, in that country. The lunch lady, the Afghanistan military that they trained and spent time with and shed blood with, the interpreters, all these, the police force, everybody, which are enemies of the Taliban. They are actively seeking and hunting them down. And well, you know how the Taliban is. They if they find you and you're on their shit list, if you're a female, you get raped. You're raped. You're a sex slave. Congratulations, that's your life. You pray for a quick death. That's it. If you're male, if you're young, well, that too. I mean, Afghanistan. You ever heard of the dancing boys? Yeah, boys turn them into sex slaves as well, and of course they turn them into slaves. And young men, they try to bring them into their military, convert them and force them to fight for the Taliban. So. Anybody else, they just kill. You're gonna be beheaded, and that's it. Good luck. And it's probably going to be a slow, painful death because there are a lot of torturers involved. That's Taliban for you. That's Taliban. So yeah, these folks were getting people out amidst all this. Every day, never forget. At least we forget as well that there are 200 people plus, because they're arresting more and more by the day. Incarcerated for the J6 false flag insurrection. Nobody expects the insurrection. So the every morning these folks they make a phone call to their loved ones and they sing at the top of their lungs the national anthem. Yeah. Every day, never forget, and never forget whose fault this is. But there's hope. There's thousands of people, friends, family, loved ones, just people like me and you that donate money to the cause to keep them with care packages and to fight for their to pay for their legal fees, which is insurmountable, against a tyrannical regime that doesn't care. Can't fight the system if the system doesn't care, I guess. Well, you can fight, but anyway, let's see. What are we going to talk about? Meanwhile, there's a few meanwhiles. Let me get this one out because it's fresh on my mind. There was a pastor in Wisconsin that was protesting Drag Queen Story Hour. It was in a park. It was a Drag Queen Story Hour, which they read for 20 minutes. And then for the rest of the hour, it was just grown-ass men in lingerie doing suggestive sexual acts and dances to kids. Yeah. And so this pastor, he started protest. He'd been there all day. For some strange reason, a Nazi group showed up and started protesting for 20 minutes and left. We'll get into that later. But yeah, he stayed there, and they said, "Hey, you need to leave. You just need to leave. You can't be protesting." He was reading the Bible. Him and his group, which is legal, by the way. Yes. Well, they said, no, you got to step behind the line. There's a line. We made a fence. You got to step back there. You got to stay back there. You can't be a part of this. And so while the Drag Queen Story Hour was going on in this park, he had to stand on the sidewalk, which is legal, by the way. And he pulls out a microphone and amplifier and starts reading the Bible. Well, the cops arrested him. Yeah, we're going to arrest you because we don't like you. We don't like your message. We like their message, but we don't like your message. Right. And so they arrested him, and they threw a bunch of charges. They're trying to figure out a way to, something to charge him with, which they did. That's how they work. Chances are he's probably going to beat all the charges. But still, they arrested him, silenced him, because that's what the opposition does. They silence, or try to silence, but, hey, you can't stop the signal. You can't stop the truth. And if it's not me, it's somebody else. I heard about this on Newsmax. Yes, I still watch Newsmax. But I think his name is Daniels. But yeah, interesting indeed. Also, meanwhile, the gentleman in Utah who was shot by the police, the Phoebe, for making threats against the potato. The potato was supposed to come to Utah, make a visit. Yeah, I gotta say, he was basically dressing up in a ghillie suit, tactical gear, talking about he wanted to see dead bodies on the floor, and, he's waiting for the visit and all this. I'm like, oh, God. Yeah, of course, yeah, they should have came and visited him. Yeah, somebody should definitely come and talk to him. Yes. Yeah, interesting enough. I forgot to segue. Well, anyway. A segue in from the last story. Anyway, carrying on with this story. But, he should have had a stern talking to. But, if you do so recall that in the past when the T-Man was president, Kathy Griffin held up a severed head of the Trumpster, a mock-up of the severed head of the Trumpster, saying this is what should happen. Madonna made a public speech in front of thousands of people talking about what she would like to do. Maybe. What she would like to do to the El Presidente, El Trumpo. I mean, and it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice at all. She wanted death and destruction. So it's okay. None of them were charged. None of them were charged, arrested, even had a stern talking to, and or shot. The details are vague. Apparently, the Phoebe showed up to the guy's house and knocked on the door. Said, "Hey, come out, talk to us." He said, "No, I'm not coming out to talk to you, fucking assholes." And said, so they came in. And basically the story is, if you want the cliff notes, is that they came in, they seen guns everywhere, he started to argue and talk shit, and they shot him. So yeah, now you can't even talk shit. So see how silence, opposition, silence the opposition. The details are sketchy and unclear. We may never know exactly what went down there, but you know what it amounts to is that he talked shit. He made some threats. You know, if you make threats against the president, that's always been a thing anyway. You always get a stern talking to from the Secret Service, and they might arrest you anyway. You know, that's just the way it is. You got to protect it. But we already know that the tyrannical regime is illegitimately here and in charge. So, and of course, all the alphabets are weaponized. So it amounts to that. You know, he posted some stuff, talked some shit, and the Phoebe shot him. So I mean, there you go. Okay, segue into the last. I know I'm going to backtrack a little bit with the pastor and the Nazi group and all that, and the Drag Queen Story Hour. The mayor, the governor was like, you know, he made a statement. He's like, well, you know, we just can't stand for all these Nazi groups to show up at Drag Queen Story Hour. You know, that is unacceptable, and that's why things went down the way they did. The pastor wasn't even a Nazi. He'd been there all day. The Nazi group showed up for 20 minutes, did some chants, and left. And he gets arrested for, you know, being there all day and being kicked out because he wouldn't leave, you know. And then he got on a bullhorn and started reading, you know, something in the Bible about true love from ecclesiastes, whatever. So yeah, you know, yeah, sad day for First Amendment. Yeah. So, go TeamLinda. Go TeamLinda. Fuck cancer. She is kicking ass, taking names, getting stronger by the day. Go TeamBabyHarper. She as well is getting stronger by the day. Still on life support, but on the mends. So, this has been Mad Shad. Every day, never forget.